Welcome. This is a message for the week of the 22nd. I sometimes try to start my messages on a Sunday, a day of peace and rest for me. And the card I pulled today from Doreen Virtue's Fairy Oracle Cards book is Trust Your Intuition. And this is what the message says. Trust your intuition. It is safe for you to follow your heart's guidance. You know deep down what to do, and this card asks you to trust and follow this inner intelligence. Has your inner guidance been trying to get your attention lately? Perhaps a gut feeling is tugging at you like a seeing eye dog. An inner voice has been screaming at you, or you've had dreams charged with profound emotions and symbolism lately. By drawing this card, you're being urged to pay careful attention to those various forms of intuition, channels for your intuition to come out. Now is not the time to ignore these messages or procrastinate. Trust this inner wisdom, just as you would if it came from a respected teacher. Know that you aren't imagining the guidance. It's powerful, and repetitive voice is a sign that you are truly getting clear and trustworthy messages that are worth following. And the affirmation that comes with it is, I trust and follow my feelings, thoughts, without question or delay. This is a great card. It's a good reminder anytime to kind of trust your inner voice and your inner guidance. We have 5 regular senses, and then I always add 2 more. One is the mind, which is bridging consciousness and subconsciousness in order to cultivate compassion and empathy. And the other is heart-centered, and to me that's the 7th sense. It can also be called the intuitive sense. We all have intuition, and how we prosper from connecting with that we learn from experience and confirmations of things. So, like any sense, you have to use it. It's like a muscle within you. And when you cultivate that by confirmations, by listening to yourself more, it becomes stronger. And then you learn. Some people use crystals in order to help them. They'll place a crystal, they'll clear the crystal, they'll ask a question, and then they'll designate a yes or a no. And that will also help to guide them. Again, that's feeding from themselves, and it's just basically a tool. And some people use that. Other people just can go to a quiet place, or they just know. There's just something that just stops them, and they go, oh yeah, that's it. And no one can convince them otherwise. If your initial first, if it comes from yourself and your initial first just feels right, it never should feel negative, because there's no judgment in intuition. It's just the best and highest path. And if it feels right and it's balanced with your heart and your mind, then no one can, if you change your mind, it's because outside influences are moving you to do so. And for whatever reason, and there's no judgment in that. But the more that we listen to our intuition and the more we acknowledge it, the more it comes to us, and it doesn't seem so odd. Children intuitively know things, and they're just very open to this. They don't kind of label it or think about it too much in their brain. They just see things, I call it a direct, they're more direct. They see things more directly. So because they're kind of still tied into those 2 other senses, and maybe many, many more, there are other cultures that believe that we have as many as 360 senses or sense muscles to use. So wow, if you think of it that way, but I'm just going to stay with 7 for now until I guess I get more. Anyway, so children have that more direct link, so they tend to see things more. So sometimes they notice what you say and what you do are 2 different things, and then they might question it or try to redirect you. And then when they find that you're not kind of getting it, they just stop. Most kids will just stop. And I've had this experience happen to me as well. Someone was trying to help me out, questioning why I did something. And for me, it was just a habit to do that. And I didn't really realize that in doing that, that wasn't good for me. I guess I didn't even realize it was a habit that I did it. But they did it, and then it was kind of a delay for me. And then I realized, hey, that was good that they pointed that out. And why do I do that? I'm not saying that I resolved it that minute. No, I'm not that good. Some things are easy peasy and you can do that. But it took me a little while. And then as I became aware that I was doing it, I was able to say, oh, okay. And then slowly, next time that came up, and it could have been a month later, 2 months later, 6 months later, somehow it still stayed with me. And now I hardly do it at all. So it's a process. And so just because, and sometimes it's easier for someone else to see something than for you to see it, especially if it's become a habit, because now it's just autopilot and you just do it. So again, that they trusted their intuition to see something, to feel safe, to say something, and then it was up to me, my responsibility to do the job to change it. So there's a couple of different things, trusting your intuition, that you can do. It's important to separate an emotionally charged thing with your intuition. Your intuition should be something that flows to you, and it should feel pretty direct. Not, oh, or this, or that, or what about this, or what about that. That's the mind. And the mind's not a bad thing, but that's usually does not reflect the directness of what your intuition tells you. For some people, it's so fast. It's a yes or a no. And they can just act on that. And that's awesome. And other people, it's, oh, that doesn't feel right. And it might get uncomfortable for them for a moment. And that's their intuition using their body in a way and their emotions in order to bring out something that feels right or doesn't feel right. And then you can acknowledge it by saying it, by maybe moving away gently, and then kind of sit with it for a second. And if it just really resonates with you, then that's what it is, and you can move forward. The other thing that's important is when you have moments, if you doubt your intuition, or when you have moments where you're looking for guidance from your intuition, and you're at a point where you can do that with your brain, thinking about it, it's kind of important to also think about the models in your life, people, ideas, maybe prayers, that help to connect you to yourself. And a lot of people, when they're looking at their intuition, will say a quick prayer, or when they're looking for an answer for something, will say a prayer. They'll call on an archangel. They may meditate. They may switch grooves, do a little yoga, do a stretch. Some people are very body orientated, and that's how they need to get back into that center to really focus on, what is my intuition doing? How do I feel about it? And then how can I sharpen it, listen to it, and know that that's really the right thing. You can also look for signs in nature. Everybody has, or you can set up certain touchstones. For me, it's hearts. Hearts because it's love, and that's the heart center, which is very important to me. But it can also be other things and other symbols. I happen to like Disney World very much. I like the concept. I'm not going to get into all the little things about it. Nothing is perfect. But I happen to like that kind of experience. And so Mickey Mouse ears are big for me. Not because they necessarily represent that icon, but because I equate a kind of happiness and self-responsibility and joy with that symbol. So you may use another symbol. I don't pray to it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, affirmation symbols for me can be anything as like Disney ears, or it could be hearts, which is very big with me. It could be birds, particular birds, cardinals especially. I feel very close to, but I love hawks and I love crows. So, again, it's whatever resonates with you. Could be a flower, could be something it could be an ancestor that you have that had a particular smell. Some people sense things through smell. Could be music that you hear that is very calming, very soothing. And again, that can help you with that. And the other thing before I close is take time every day to tap in to yourself. Whether it's just sitting for 10 minutes in a sunbeam through the window, get your free vitamin D, and just breathe slowly and really just kind of take in, I'm okay today, things are good today, and say a prayer of gratitude for everyone around you, and just breathe. Breathe and be close. And if you need to hold something, if that's important to you, hold something. If you need to pray, pray. These are times to connect and reconnect. Everything you need is within you, so cultivate that. And surround yourself with the type of people who are doing the same thing. Maybe not exactly as you do it, but who have that kind of same philosophy, that positiveness, that trust of the self, exploring the self, seeking the self, because we are all connected, we are all part of a human family, and we all have the same desires, wants, and needs. We just express them differently. So I wish you a blessed week. May you have great trust in your intuition, and may you take the time to cultivate your intuition and find and know the peace and light that comes from your power within. I'm Elizabeth Ramona. Thank you for watching, and have a fabulous day.